Ranganathan, why do we see vulture politics of this kind every time, a tragedy takes place? Lives are lost.
Good evening, Pranesh, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, like every panelist out here, may I please express my deepest condolences, most sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved. It's an incalculable tragedy, as Sanju and Karan and Lokesh and everyone, Raviji, have said. My heart goes out to the people who are seriously injured, and it's just I'm lost for words. But I have to answer the question because you have asked it pointedly. The vulture politics is a sign of our times. The tragedy out here is that while, of course, this is something that you have to go to the bottom of it, not only the government, but I think an constitutional authority, non-BJP, non any other political party, maybe the Supreme Court has to sit on this and deliberate and find out what the truth is. But the fact is, we've seen it time and again in non-BJP ruled states whenever such tragedies happen, and they've been happening every year with alarming regularity. I don't need to even tell you about the 2001 mishap in Sabrimala, where I think more than 100 pilgrims died in stampede. I don't want to talk about the Andhra Pradesh Tirupati tragedies that happened with alarming regularity. I don't want to talk about so many other tragedies that have happened. Very recently in Delhi, you had the Rajendra Nagar flooding tragedy. So the point I'm trying to make is that the moment you start indulging in vulture politics, the moment you start selectively criticizing the government in the state where the tragedy has taken place, you are, I'm afraid, peddling propaganda. And at this sensitive moment, that is the last thing you should do. Because anybody can turn around and say, what about the stampede that happened in your state? What about the stampede that happened and you did not take and you did not resign? Your prime minister, chief minister did not resign. Again, I want to talk about a specific matter out here. On day one of Mahakumbh, on day one, today it's I think 15th day if I'm not mistaken, or 12th day. On day one, 17 million people took bath. It happened without any mishap. It worked like clockwork. Did anybody say or put out an alarming signal that look, 17 million people have taken bath, a tragedy waiting to happen? Nobody did. So clearly people were, I'm just saying, satisfied with the preparations that the authorities had made. There had been drills that have happened. 17 million is a massive number on one ghat. Today, double that amount took part. About 36 million people, which is half the population of United Kingdom, took bath in a ghat, in an atmosphere where somebody spread something and people ran, a stampede occurred, barricades were broken. Now, of course, one must go down to the bottom of it. But the point I'm trying to make is two. You are being selective, fine. But please remember, on day one, 17 million took bath without any mishap. You did not talk about what could happen. And in your states, non-BJP ruled states, when such tragedies happen, I talked about Sabrimala, I talked about Tirupati, you are silent. So please don't do this on a day when tragedy has happened, and we must go down to the bottom of it. And obviously the blame has to be proportioned. The blame has to be found out who is responsible for this.